Janjo.
Sega has just released early concept art for Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. So let's take a look at them. Wait, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, because that helps me upload more videos and know that you like content like this. Hey everybody, this is Jesse from the Janjo Zone. So as I just mentioned, Sega released some concept art for Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. And I'm really excited about these because just looking at them, you can see some of the ideas they had that either made it into the game or got converted in other ways. And it's really cool to see their ideas from start to finish. So let's just take a quick look at them. So the first one we have is from Sonic Adventure. There's actually mostly Sonic Adventure ones in here. This one in particular is really cool. We got these 6 photos of very early CG Sonic. It kind of looks like something from the Saturn era, maybe taken from Sonic Jam, because Sonic World from Sonic Jam, which I've done a video about this, was actually a sort of test run for a potentially 3D Sonic game, i.e. Sonic Adventure. And you can definitely see it in here. You definitely get vibes of Sonic Adventure, and also a little bit of Sonic 3 and Knuckles in there as well, because you got this one image with Angel Island floating in the background, which makes me think that maybe they were considering some sort of Sonic and Knuckles 3D game first, before quite Sonic Adventure. Or maybe it was just they felt that would be the best way to showcase your ideas they wanted to kind of get at. Because you see other photos here, like this one where they're looking out into the jungle, which, as we know, made it into Sonic Adventure. You get other areas, like underneath in the base of the jungle, you get this watery canyon. It looks like that might wind up being Red Canyon. Then you get a cave with some crystals here that could have potentially led to Ice Cap. I'm not entirely sure because these are all just very early concept. I think it's really cool seeing what Sonic Adventure could potentially look like had it been made on the Sega Saturn. And it's really interesting seeing these in full colors and they're rendered, and just seeing classic Sonic in this 3D environment, because we don't really see that often. The games we have been kind of the weirder ones, again, like Sonic World or like Sonic R, Sonic the Fighters. Not quite like this in Sonic Adventure. It's a weird what-if look at it. I think that's really kind of neat. So this next picture we're looking at is the altar of the Master Emerald. I think it's the Master Emerald. Could just be the Chaos Emeralds. But clearly it looks like it's supposed to be the Master Emerald Shrine, which in Sonic Adventure was above ground. This one looks to be underground, much like it was in Sonic and Knuckles. So that's interesting in the regards that they could have potentially have had, again, more like Sonic and Knuckles, more of the concepts of that with an underground shrine. I don't know why they decided to make it above ground. If they thought it would just look better, it'd be easier to put the player to showcase the show. I don't know, but it's cool that they have this kind of concept of it. Definitely looks more 3D. You got the emeralds on each side of it. At least I assume they're emeralds. This isn't in color, so it's kind of hard to gauge what exactly everything is. That top thing, it looks like an upside down Master Emerald, so I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the Master Emerald or something. I'm not entirely sure. Is that thing below it supposed to be a case where the Master Emerald is in? I don't know, but that's just what we're going to have to go off of. This next image, we have another sort of cave where you see it looks like Knuckles coming in from the outside. This could potentially be the Lost World stage. Maybe it's some sort of cave area with these crystals everywhere. I can only assume they're crystals. They kind of look like it. So it's not much to say about this apart from it looks like Knuckles. You can kind of see the dreadlocks, so maybe they had Knuckles intended for the game at a very early phase. And then this image, they have some sort of dome. It looks like it's still underground, and you can see that sort of crystal looking structures on the bottom of it. So it's possibly that picture wound up over here, which this could be the Emerald Shrine, the Emerald Altar, in this dome looking thing. Because it is underground, you do get this crystal stalactite thing up on top of it, which could go below, and that could be like an emerald type of thing. So that's my best guess, that the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald, that was all in some sort of underground dome, not just were ever underground. So this might have been where you see them in the main game, and they might have decided to raise this up above ground and get rid of the dome and just have the emerald there. That's pretty interesting. This other one, we have a big Echidna statue. This looks like it could possibly have been in the city of the Echidnas in Sonic Adventure, given that it looks like there's a bunch of pillars and stuff around it. Gives you kind of a, possibly a city kind of vibe to it. This could also have been maybe on the outside of the underground shrine, maybe outside of a cavern, of a cave or a mountain or something. So there's not too much to go off of this one compared to the other ones, but you know, I have some general ideas. And that's actually it for the Sonic Adventure 1. Now let's go to Sonic Adventure 2. We only have 2 for Adventure 2, and these aren't nearly as interesting. We have this one where Sonic is grinding on rails. We got some spikes on a vine kind of thing with some steps. I'm not sure where this is supposed to be. It's just probably showing Sonic is grinding on a rail. What's interesting to look here is that his shoes aren't the soap shoes, but they're not necessarily his original shoes either. They're kind of a weird mix of it, I would say, a redesign. I guess they were thinking about redesigning it in early concepts from the start, and maybe they decided, okay, we'll use his regular shoes as a placeholder before we figure out something we want to do, and that led to the soap shoes, possibly. I'm looking at his gloves, and the bottom of his gloves near his arms are kind of a bit longer than I feel like they were in the game, but otherwise Sonic has the same kind of look to it. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. His shoes are definitely the most interesting part of that. So other one, we really don't have anything to go off of this except for Robotnik. I guess he was planned to be a main character, a playable character in the game with the robot legs from early on. Of course, this is his, I can't think of the stage off the top of my head, but I know where it is, that elevator section. So that's interesting to think about, that they did plan on letting you play as Robotnik in early concepts. Because I know initially that the game wanted to only have a smaller roster of characters before they end up expanding it to having duplicate characters. So it makes me curious what exact characters they had from the start. If it was just like Knuckles, Sonic, Shadow, and Robotnik, I'm not sure. But it's interesting to think about that they were planning to let you play as Robotnik, and I appreciate that that was a thing, because you don't really play as him in pretty much any of the games, any of the main games, aside from Sonic Adventure 2. So it's cool that this is the game that they were definitely thinking about that. So now we actually have a bunch of Sonic Heroes pictures. Yeah, so we have one of the Lost Jungle with the giant crocodile. The crocodile was always kind of neat to me because it was one of the rare stage chase scenes, one of the rare stage elements that you don't really see in the game. It's like in City Escape you had the truck, or Sonic Adventure you had the whale, but no one ever talks about the crocodile in Lost Jungle, and I always thought it was fun because it's a terrifying monster. It's a quick segment, there's not really much to it, but to be honest, there wasn't really much to the other ones either, so I'm kind of surprised no one ever talks about this, but this concept art's really cool. The crocodile looks really menacing, and you can tell they had Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails planned at an early stage to be in the Heroes gimmick. There's other stage, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Sonic is running along this giant spine of dinosaur or something. There's a big pirate skull in the back, there's a ship, which makes me think that they initially were planning to have some sort of spooky pirate stage at first, and we see Sonic running by himself, so it's possible that in early concepts they were expecting this to just be a solo player game, not a Sonic Heroes type of thing. I can't imagine what they end up turning the stage into. Obviously we got a different spooky stage in Sonic Heroes, but it looks nothing like this, so this could have just been something they were thinking and thought, well, maybe the bones are a bit too much for kids. This is another cut stage. It looks like some sort of stage based off of the Japanese clay dolls, the Dogus, as seen as just this giant mountain of it. Again, I don't see what the stage was turned into. It's possible it could have been an early jungle stage that they were thinking about, maybe when they were thinking about more of a Sonic solo game. Maybe they were thinking of something along the lines of a Sonic 06 or a Sonic Unleashed at this point. Because this and the last mission definitely seems more of a running type of straightaway. You don't really see any loop-de-loops or anything like that, but it's interesting to look at what could have been. I'm sure there have been some really cool things with climbing the Dogu and just imagery. Now we have one, it's a bit more easier to look at. This is the Frog Forest. It's easier to know what this is supposed to be. And yeah, so they clearly had a concept for this very viney, rail-like stage with a bunch of mushrooms everywhere, and it's colored, so that's cool. Okay, here we have Lost Jungle, another one just like the Frog Forest one. Again, they clearly had an idea for it. It looks really pretty looking at it. It's really pretty looking at it at this angle, just seeing all the water and the plants and everywhere, and it's cool that there were ideas that they clearly stuck to from start to end. Now this one's a bit different. We got the, I want to say this is supposed to be a rail canyon or a bullet station kind of stage, because you see the big train there that is obviously in it, and the top of the mountains were kind of odd too. But you start to look at the stage and you think, wow, this is actually way different. The pillars that hold up the rails are actually cacti, they're cactuses, and you have all these windmills everywhere, kind of remind me of in Sonic Unleashed a bit. So it makes me think that initially the idea wasn't a big canyon stage, it was that it was some sort of Wild West stage. And obviously this was eventually completely changed, except for the trains, and they kept some of the concepts like the windmills put into Sonic Unleashed, and the desert Wild West themes wound up in Sonic Mania. But it's really neat to see what this really could have been, because it could have been a completely different stage just with the trains. So maybe the trains was the pivoting concept they had and not quite sure where to fit that in, and when they thought they wanted to make more rail stages, they decided to just turn this into one of those to probably make it easier to make. And then we got Seaside Hill. It's actually really cool because you see the end of the stage with the big whale structure, and you don't really see it in the stage. You do go through it, but you don't get a good angle to view it and understand it's supposed to be a whale like you do right here. And the Seaside Hill looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit more archaic, a little bit more natural looking. You look at some of the pillars holding up the road, and there's a big fish over there, and it definitely seems like they had a little bit of a change to it, make it a bit more structural in the final version, but definitely the whale seemed to have been their big, like this is the big thing to look at the stage, and it's kind of funny because you don't really get to notice it very well. So that's all of the concept art that Sega has released as of this date that I'm recording this on the 17th of November of 2020. I think it's really cool to look at some of these concept art to see what they had in mind, see what they had to change and what they wanted to do and what got stuck to the game. I think it's really interesting. Definitely let me know which one is your favorite. Personally, for me, I really like the colorized Sonic Adventure Saturn Sonic artwork, and I also really like the rail canyon because there's a lot to kind of pull off from that. But yeah, let me know which one's your favorite. Let me know what other kind of videos like this you'd like to see. And of course, check out my social media and my Patreon, in which you can submit a request for a discussion monthly on this channel. And I also got plenty of cool merch that is Sonic themed, so definitely check that out. And my Twitter at the Janjo Zone. And of course, until then, have a wonderful day.